Welcome back to the Kyle Olson Show. Jerome Hudson, my colleague at Breitbart News, has a new book out titled 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know About Trump, and he joins me now. Jerome, thanks for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. It's good to be back on.
So your book has 50 chapters, all accomplishments during President Trump's first term. One that I think doesn't get a lot of attention but could be very consequential in Michigan is Chapter 5. Trump's EPA gave $100 million to fix the broken water infrastructure system in Flint, Michigan. Tell me about that.
Yeah, and it is important to say that there are a lot of theories about how the Flint water basically became so lead-laced, but it took the election of President Trump to actually fix the problem. As I write, I quote our colleague, John Hayward, who basically did the right thing in squarely blaming the leadership in Flint, which had existed for decades, top to bottom, was Democrat controlled. The mayors, the city managers, the city council, anyone who should have been held responsible for just how poisonous Flint's water was, the decisions, the policies that they put in place, the regulations that they all promoted, it lays at the feet of the Democrats who ran that city. What's particularly interesting, Cal, and I wasn't able to actually put it in to this chapter, but Michael Moore squarely put the blame on Barack Obama. Barack Obama visited the city. Rick Snyder was booed before he brought Barack Obama up. But when Barack Obama drank that water, you could see on the video, and you can hear the audible gasp from the crowd. John Podesta, I'll say, told Michael Moore he does not know why Barack Obama went to Flint, drunk the water, and then got back on Air Force One without the problem ever being solved.
Mm-hmm. And what was interesting about that is so many of the residents, as you say, and Michael Moore had that in his one of his recent movies. I saw a podcast from Maurice Davis, who is vice president of the Flint City Council. He said he's supporting Trump. He said that Flint needs Trump, but he said in 2016, then candidate Trump his first stop in Flint was to the water plant because he wanted to see what was going on. But then you have the president of the United States, Barack Obama, come to Flint, drink the water, and basically say, no, there's nothing going on here. And the activists were completely deflated. He just completely undercut, their whole position. And what I think would anger a lot of Flint residents now is the fact that Governor Rick Snyder, who was Michigan governor at the time, and whom they blame for the water crisis, has endorsed Joe Biden. What impact do you think that will have?
Yeah, Rick Snyder, just quintessential Republican in name only. He's endorsing the guy in Joe Biden who was vice president when his boss, Barack Obama, just basically flew in for a photo op and didn't actually fix the problem. It should enrage everyone, no matter what side on the political aisle that you're on. Mm-hmm. The fact of the matter is that Joe Biden, on his watch, failed to help the people of Flint, Michigan. No, it was the Trump EPA that granted the $100 million grant to replace Flint's bad pipes. The thing about federal grants is that they come with strict stipulations. And so the city, being, under the watch of the EPA, they finally hired a competent contractor. And the problem isn't 100% solved, but it certainly is far from what it used to be. And, Hillary Clinton on the campaign trail in 2016 used this issue to beat Republicans over the head. Mm-hmm. When there was a Democrat in Barack Obama in the office, Joe Biden vice president, a Democrat-run EPA. But the good news is that President Trump got elected, and as you said, he solved the problem.
Chapter 15: Trump has been tougher on Putin than Obama was. In what ways?
So I highlight, just how ambivalent and belligerent the Kremlin had been leading up to, I go so far as their invasion of Georgia, and I highlight how Russia hacked the Pentagon. They hacked the Joint Chiefs. they hacked the White House, Kyle. They even got access to Barack Obama's personal calendar. And I sort of set that stage to basically lay out the situation that Donald Trump found himself in terms of relations with, I think our number two adversary in the world, China being number one. Russia had been interfering in elections. I write about it in my first book, actually, since 1992, and they aren't particularly good at it. But the president actually issued sanctions on about 24 Russian oligarchs, Kyle, in response to the Senate investigation, the DOJ investigation that did find that there were Russians tied to the trying to influence a 2016 election. You just didn't see that type of force from the Obama administration, and in fact, you saw the sale of 20% of our uranium stockpile to Putin's Russia under Barack Obama. The president has continued to enact sanctions on Russia, but beyond that, President Trump nixing the Iran nuclear deal, Iran, a huge ally for Russia, and also it also hurts Russia's ability to actually sell oil. It's a huge oil trade partner. The president also strategically dealing with the civil war in Syria. Again, Bashar al-Assad, president of that country, another ally of Putin's. So the President Trump actually, instigated sort of a multi-pronged and multifaceted approach to dealing with Putin, weakening Putin's and Russia's allies, as well as Venezuela and Cuba, but Iran and Syria particularly. And now that country is the economic strain of those sanctions and the weakening of Putin's allies. They're really feeling it in that regime.
So your book, 50 Things They Don't Want You to Know About Trump, talks a lot about Trump's economic record, because there's a lot to talk about there, especially pre-coronavirus. But let's take two chapters together. Chapter 49, median household income reached over $65,000 in 2019, the highest level on record. And Chapter 26, the poverty rate for Black and Hispanic Americans dropped to an all-time low in 2018.
Yeah, what's really interesting about the median household income is I use that number because it was actually a private sector company projection of what the median household income would be. I had all of my last drafts into HarperCollins, but real take-home pay for the typical middle-class family, the numbers actually came out last month, actually. We were talking about an increase, Kyle, of roughly $5,000, and the median, real median household income actually rose to $68,700 in 2019, far outpacing 2017 under Trump, which was a record high, as well as 2018 under Trump, which was a record high.
50 Things They Don't Want You to Know About Trump is out now. Pick it up today. Jerome Hudson, entertainment editor at Breitbart News. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is the Kyle Olson Show. We'll be right back.